angles. Watch here, put a little shadow right back here. Swoop. Now then, if we want to push that one back, come right up in here, take your shadow, and pull it once again, distinctly through. And it pushes that one into the background. That easy, that easy. Little shadows all in here, like so, wherever you want to. Wherever. Maybe you can come right back in here. See, just come in and you can take more white and just begin adding all kinds of things. If you want to put another little peak out in here, look, that easy. See, just add him in wherever you want him to live. Wherever you want him to live. Okay, but now, this didn't look right until you come back in here and put a shadow. He needs his own private shadow. His own little shadow. And you can just add whatever. In fact, watch right here. Let me show you. Maybe in your world, you decide right here lives another little snow-covered peak. See, drop it in. Just be brave. Throw it in there. Now, that doesn't look right until you come back and you give him his own shadow. See how that just, now it fits. Anywhere you want to show a little ridge, all you do is just drop it in wherever you want it. That easy. Okay? Now then, I'm just wiping the knife on paper towels down here with a clean, dry brush. Be sure it's dry. Now we want to create the illusion of mist. Begin tapping, just barely touching. And follow the angles. See how this goes up? Follow that angle. Don't just come chopping across here because it'll look like somebody cut your mountain off with a big butcher knife and it won't look right. Follow these angles softly, and the higher you go, the softer. We just want to do the base of the mountain. Don't want to touch the top. Very lightly and very soft. Okay. Very soft. Over here, we follow these angles. Just like so. Now, 3 hairs and some air. Gently. Just lift it upward. This does 2 things. 2 things. It helps create the illusion of mist, softens, blends together, and it removes all those little tap marks that you put in. Just brings it all together, makes it very, very soft, and creates that illusion of mist at the base of your mountain. Look at that. See that? And just blend it. And that easy, you have a happy little mountain. Now then, today let's put a little foothill there. We just use the same old brush. I'll take a little white on that brush, and I'm going to go right into the color we made the base of the mountain out of. Right into that color, and just tap the brush. Same color. Just tap it. Like so. So you can grab a little more of the blue and white. Whatever you have left over, it's light. It's mainly white, though. Just tap. Okay, let's go up here. Now then, maybe there's a little footy hill that lives back up in here. You don't want to kill this mist in here. See this misty area right in here? That's very important. Save that mist. Come slightly below that and just take the brush and tap in a little foothill. Wherever you think you should live, just tap it in. Tap it in. Like so. Just barely touching. See? Okay, now maybe there's another little ridge that comes right down. Wherever you want it. Wherever you want it. That easy. That easy. You can just drop in as many or as few as you want in your world. All you're doing is just tapping. Lightly tapping. See? All kinds of little things are happening in here. Now, if this is water, underneath this, we want a happy little reflection. So, we'll use that same color and come underneath and very, very lightly pull straight down. You have to make a decision now where land and water come together. Pull straight down. just straight down, like so. Just like so, see? Okay. And it's important that these lines come straight down. If they don't, they won't look right to you. And very lightly go across. Very lightly. Okay. Now then, we'll take a 1-inch brush and we'll make this look like little trees that are far, far off in the distance. Lift upward. Just lift upward. Little tiny strokes, maybe 1/4 inch, barely touching, and just lift upward. And we want to do this in layers. Top first, and then work downward. Downward, downward, downward. But lift these straight up. If they go at angles, it'll look like a wind blowing through there at about 1,000 miles an hour and blowing your little trees over. Straight up. Straight up. See there? And it creates that illusion of just little hills back here that have little evergreens and trees growing far, far back in the distance, far away. Far away. Now then, let's put a water line in there. We use a little touch of the liquid white. We just put it on the palette here, pull it out very flat, and cut across. Okay? Pull it out flat and cut across. That way there's a tiny amount of paint right on top of the knife, okay? Now come in here, decide where your waterline should live, and you're literally cutting, just a firm pressure, cut right into the fabric. You're not going to hurt this canvas. There you go. Just cut those water lines right in. Now, these lines can go anywhere you want them to go, but they need to be basically straight. Otherwise, your water's not going to look right. It'll look like it's going to run right out of the painting. So keep these lines basically straight. There we go. Wherever. Maybe in here, there's just a little shimmer coming across. These also need to be nice and straight. Like so. Now, show you how to create some fantastic distance. Watch here. We'll go back. This is the same brush that I was using to make the little footy hill in the background. And I'm going to use the same color, only a little darker. But it's the same color. As things get closer to you in a landscape, they should get darker in value. Darker, darker, darker as it comes towards you. Tap a little color in it. Let's go up here. Maybe there's another little thing that lives right here. And it comes right out like that. See there? You can put as many or as few of these as you want in the painting, but each one creates another plane in your painting and helps create that illusion of depth and distance in your painting. And if you're out selling paintings, these are the things that make your painting sell over somebody else's. Distance, depth in your painting. Okay, now we need a little reflection, so just pull straight down once again. Straight down. And then lightly across. Instant reflections. Nothing could be simpler. Okay, now one thing this does, when you look at the painting, this one is coming down this direction, this one's coming, it leads the eye into the painting. You almost can't help but look in here and looks like a little river that's going way back in the distance, and it's because these are coming downward. The lay of the land comes downward, and it helps bring your eye into the painting and lead it back, way back to that big old mountain that lives back here in the distance. Okay, let's come right up here, a little touch of the liquid white on the knife, and we just throw in a happy little water line. Just let him come right around the base of this. Once again, these lines need to be as straight as possible. Straight as possible. Okay. Now then, it's time to make some big decisions and have some fun. We'll just take we'll use the color we had left. No use wasting it. We'll take some black, some Prussian blue. Black Prussian blue. We can throw some Van Dyke brown in there. A little bit of alizarin crimson. Whatever you have. We're basically looking for good dark, strong colors here. Blue, black, whatever. Crimson. Good colors. So we might as well mix up a pretty good pile. Okay, let me clean the knife off here. Let's make some happy little evergreens. And for that, today let's use the fan brush. And we can come right in here and we're going to fill the fan brush full of color. Both sides. Pull both sides. Load it full of color. There's a lot of paint in that brush. Okay, let's go right up here. Now you have to make your first decision about trees. Where do they live? Maybe. Yep. A tree lives right there. So all you do initially is just touch. That gives you sort of a center and a guide. Now using just the corner of the brush, just the corner, begin pushing downward and sort of let it just work from side to side. Think about the little arms on this tree. Tree needs branches. The little bird has to have a place to sit there. Now we all know that evergreens, watch here, let me just show you something. We all know evergreens have 500 limbs, but if you sit here and do this, it doesn't look right. We know there's a lot of limbs there, but if you just leave these spaces for the wind to get through, you can see the difference in that tree. Now, if you make one that doesn't look just right, all you got to do is put a tree. Trees covered by a multitude of scents. You can just come right over it. Look at that. Let's just throw in a bunch of dark. Now watch right here. Right here, this tree has a friend. See there? If you make a mistake, all you have to do is put another tree there. You can put as many trees in your world as you want. Only God knows how many trees are going to grow in this spot. And you can make that decision on canvas. You can do it. See? And you can't even tell there was an error there. We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. Some of the nicest effects I've ever learned have come from mistakes. So when you make a mistake, don't let it upset you. Look at it as a learning experience. Sometimes mistakes are gifts that you don't notice. Watch here, maybe, sometimes we don't want to make every tree perfectly straight. Maybe when this tree was just a little fella, maybe a big deer walked through here and stepped on him and gave him a little hurt in his back. So maybe he grows over and he's leaning a little bit. See now, by pushing downward with this fan brush, when you push, look, I'll do it down here. When you push downward like that, it makes these little hangy downs underneath. See those little things? I don't know what you call them, but under evergreen, and you get right tight there and see that. But it makes little things that hang down under the limbs, and it's very desirable. See, push down, just push down, and they happen automatically. It makes your painting pretty. Well, I got a mess going there. Let's just take one. We'll just throw some of that right in here, like so, like so. We know that's going to be reflections, so we need a little color out here anyway. What the heck? And when your friends are watching you paint and you do something like this, they'll just know that you made a big mistake, and they'll be tickled to death when you can take that, what they thought was a mistake, and turn it into a beautiful, beautiful part of your painting. Okay, I'm going to load up a little more color, and maybe over the other side, we don't want it left out. Maybe over here, there's a big tree. Boy, there is now. Lives right here. Corner of the brush. This will give you a lot of practice making these little evergreens. And one thing, let me show you something here. One thing that I really recommend, when you first start doing these, sometimes they're not quite as easy as they look. So if you know there's going to be a big tree here, come down underneath it here and practice. This is a super place because you're going to cover that up anyway. And you can come down in here and you can practice your tree. See, and if you make one that looks like that, and you really may the first couple of times you try it, you haven't hurt anything. There's nothing at all wrong, because when you bring this big one down here, it'll cover him right up. See, we can go right up here in this big old tree. There he comes. There he comes. Now these evergreens can be made with a fan brush, 1-inch brush, 2-inch brush. 2-inch brush makes beautiful evergreens this big. In fact, it would have been a lot easier to have made this with a 2-inch brush. When you're doing it at home, maybe you want to try the 2-inch. Bring it to a nice, sharp chisel edge, and just make it exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. Let's give this evergreen here. Maybe he's got a little friend. He's got a little friend. And make up little stories. Name this tree. Maybe this, tell you what, maybe this tree's named Richard. He lives right out here. Just make friends with these things. Just make up little stories in your mind. Let these little things just happen. You know, as I mentioned earlier, painting should really make you happy, and get into the mood. Think where you're at. Let this become your world, and you go there, and you find peace, and you find tranquility. It's right here. Create these stories in your mind and put them on canvas, and that's when you really experience the joy of painting. Use what's in here to put up there. You don't always have to use your hand. Let your heart paint. I talk too much. Let's take a little bit of titanium white on the brush, and we'll pick up phthalo blue. So we have just titanium white and phthalo blue. This is a pretty dark color. When you're doing this, pull this brush in one direction through the paint. Hold it straight. Pull it in one direction using firm pressure. And we're loading a lot of paint into that brush. A lot of paint. See there? Once again, one direction. And by pulling it in one direction, it creates a curve. See the curve on that brush? You want that curve to be on the top. It's most important. Let me repeat that. That curve needs to be to the top when we begin painting. So let's go up here and begin painting. With that curve to the top, now we begin deciding where some happy little bushes are going to live. Give it a little upward push. See? Push. And begin forming individual bushes. Push. Don't let it slide. Push. Push, bend the bristles, and get back away from it. See? Push. And all we're doing here is putting in a base color. We're going to come back and make these little snow-covered bushes, but right now, push. Now see, if your brush slides, you're going to get that. You don't want that. So can you see how that looks right in there? Maybe we can get real tight and you can see. See, if your brush slides, you're going to have things like that. Push and make that brush. See how the difference? See how lacy that looks? And all the little individual effects. This bush just keeps growing here. It'll be a tree in a minute. See? Tell you what, while we got that going, let's do a couple on the other side over here too. The one that left out. And right in here, push, bend the bristles. Just bend them. See there? And wherever you think a little bush should live, that's the right place. Just drop him in. And once again, this is nothing here but a base color. It's just dark in order that the light that we're going to put on top will show. If you put light against light, you have absolutely nothing. You have to have dark in order to show light. Dark in order to show light. Light in order to show dark. You know, it's just like in our personal lives. If every day was a fantastic day, pretty soon you wouldn't know it. Ever so often in everybody's life, a little darkness has to come. And then when you have a good day, you know it's there. You know it's there. There we go. All right. Now then, I'll take another 1-inch brush, and this one's clean and dry, and we can begin putting some highlights on these bushes. Now, one of our golden rules, a thin paint will stick to a thick paint. So I'm going to dip the brush into a little bit of the liquid white and then go right through titanium white. Pull it in one direction. I use the liquid white only to thin the titanium white. One direction, just like we loaded it before. Get a lot of paint. Look at all the paint. Probably the biggest mistake made is not applying enough paint to the brush. So when you go up to hit the canvas, you have to hit it really hard to get paint to come off the brush. If you have a lot of paint out here on this brush, then all you have to do is barely touch. And I know sometimes when you're watching the when you're watching the series, it looks like you run across the room and hit it hard. It's a gentle touch, and do one bush at a time. Slightly above the dark, give it a little push, just enough to bend the bristles a little bit, and go like that. Just like so. One bush at a time. One bush at a time. Like so. And we're going to have reflections under here. So take a clean brush and pull this straight down. Straight down. See how easy you can turn that right into reflections? And then go across. Now then, we can take and begin reflecting this color right down into the reflection. Just turn the brush over and push slightly downward. And you can make upside down bushes. Okay, touch more of the liquid white into my titanium white, and then we can load the brush and do another bush. Do one bush at a time. I can't say that enough. Each one of these little rascals are individuals. Now we can turn the brush sidewards and push upward so you can make little grassy things. One bush at a time. Old paint that you have left on your palette, you can freeze it and save it and thaw it out when you get ready to paint. Save that to practice things like this. Shoot, you can practice on an old cardboard box. You don't have to have anything. Practice is the secret, though. Another little bush lives right there. See, do the bushes that are farthest away first and put the ones in the foreground in. Layer them. Come right down here. Just put the indication of a happy little reflection here and there. There's one. Wherever you want them. Wherever. See, if you want to. Just sort of reverse it and drop them in. Drop them in. Another way to get a lot of ideas for painting, because very rapidly you learn how to paint. What becomes hard is what to paint. What to paint soon poses a bigger problem than how to paint, because you'll master this in no time if you practice a little bit. But what to paint soon becomes your biggest challenge in art. One of the things that you'll find will give you a lot of ideas. We have numerous instructional books, and these books go along with the television series. And each book contains 13 paintings and instructions on how to do them, and literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of how-to step-by-step photographs. And you might find those excellent aids and excellent ways to get ideas on new paintings. Once you learn this technique, boy, you'll be knocking out paintings left and right. One bush at a time. I know you get tired of hearing that, but it's so important. So important. There. And now, push upward. Can you see? Give it a little upward push. See how that creates those little grassy areas? Just beautiful little areas. There. Just as many as you want. Now, there's nothing wrong if your paint picks up too much of the undercolor. Stop and clean your brush. There's nothing wrong with cleaning your brush. It's also a good idea to have several 1 and 2 inch brushes. You'll find that you can use one for dark color and one for light. You'll save tremendous, tremendous volumes of paint if you don't have to wash your brush every time you go from a light color to a dark color. There we go. Another little bush lives right there. Wherever you want them. Just sort of, in your mind, decide where they live and drop them in. Okay. Now then, let's take, and here we check to see if you have a delicate touch. We're going to just barely caress this. Pull it straight down, straight down, straight down. Barely touching, and then go across. And that creates those beautiful mirror reflections. And they're that simple. Where when I was a traditional painter, reflections used to drive me crazy. I'd paint a picture, and I'd turn the canvas upside down and paint it again and try to make it wiggle. And here, it's one of the easiest things going. Let's take a little touch of titanium white. We just, that little roll of paint. And let's go right in here and put some snow on these bushes. Pull. Like so. Angles are very important. Pull. See there? That easy. Put a little snow under there. You can take a little touch of the liquid white, just like we did in the background. And just make a happy little water line. And that cleans up the edges and brings everything together. With a clean knife, you can just scrape in a happy little stick here and there, wherever you want them. Okay, let's take a fan brush and take an old fan brush here. I'm going to take a little touch, get a little liquid white, because I want this paint to be a little thinner. Liquid white, a little blue. Just load the brush full of color. And let's put a little highlight on some of these little evergreens here. Just like so. Don't want much. Don't want to lose the darkness, because you'll lose a beautiful contrast in this painting. Just like so. And more on the left on this side, because you see where the light's at. There we go. Now, on these big trees on the other side, here, the highlight will be more to the right. There we go. Once again, don't overkill with this. Just a little. Just a little. Just to give it a little highlight. Because this dark in here is what really makes this painting spectacular. Tell you what, let's put a little cabin right here. Easiest way, take your knife and scrape out a basic shape. That does two things. It allows you to lay out your perspective, get your cabin just the way you want it. But more important, it removes this thin, loose paint. Just like so. We'll take Van Dyke Brown, pull it out, and you get that same little roll of paint. Start with the back eave, pull it straight across. Just like so. Now we can take titanium white, and maybe the easiest way is just sort of to block in your basic roof shape. Then take your knife, give it a little pull. Zoop. That easy. That easy. Okay, we go on the other side over here. Put a little snow. Clean off my knife. We can take Van Dyke Brown. There's a little dark cyan in it too. Just mix the two. Pull it straight down. Like so. There we go. And we need some over here on the side. Zoop. Then we can take a little bit of brown and white. And it's just mixed very loosely. Don't overmix. Touch, no pressure. Just like putting snow on the mountain. Pull it straight down, and it'll create a weathered wood effect. A little bit of Van Dyke Brown, come across. Isn't that easy? We put in a little door. Put a little highlight around that, and you can just cut through this and make it look like old slabs, old boards. Then with a clean knife, we can come in here and we can do a cabinectomy. We can just cut this cabin off however we want it. See there? Nice old looking cabin. I guess that old trapper, he must have fell in there and drowned her. This cabin's really going downhill. Now then, a little titanium white. Let's just put in a little bit of snow. Just a little snow. Just lay it in wherever you think it ought to be. Like so. 1-inch brush. And let's just drop a happy little bush. Maybe the trees are growing all up around the edge of this cabin. See them? Just push them in. Just push them in. Like that. Okay. Then we can scratch in a few little sticks, little twigs here and there. And I think we about have a finished painting. Now, let's take our liner brush and do the most important part. We'll take a little paint thinner on the brush, thin this paint down till it's just like ink, very thin, and we can sign this one. If you've enjoyed this instructional video tape, we have many other tapes, not only by myself, but a lot of other fantastic painters in just about every medium you can think of. Drop me a line.